Yo, what's shaking, everybody? Welcome to the Overreaction Monday show here on Orange Bloods Live, brought to you by RogueShop.com. Use that promo code OrangeBloods for Texas's home for legal CBD, THC, and more. You know you love it. They're good people. They've got a great product. Go check them out and make your life a little bit better on today. I'll tell you what, this weekend's results of college football, and like, subscribe, comment on the page, all those things. Anwar, I didn't have to twist your arm today. We were talking about topics. You can only do so many Arch and Quinn shows. Yeah. And I got to be honest, coming out of the weekend, the thing that's on my mind the most is Oklahoma in disarray. We're just a few weeks away from Texas and OU. And yet the more that you look at this schedule for Texas as it begins its quest legitimately for a national championship, like they can win this thing. They might seriously be the best team in college football. And I don't want to say that maybe it's not even close. Like it's too soon for that. We'll know a lot more after they get through Oklahoma and Georgia, but maybe it's just getting through Georgia, because Oklahoma is half of a football team. And I'm wondering what we're going to see when those two teams play in the Cotton Bowl. It's not going to be 49-0, but I emerge out of this weekend having thought Texas was already a double-digit favorite against the Sooners. And I just don't know how that game doesn't turn into an ass-kicking if Oklahoma can't be at least borderline respectable on the offensive side of the ball. You cannot go into a gunfight with these Steve Sarkisian Longhorns with a cap gun. And that's about what they're working with right now. And so all I'm thinking about on a Monday is the Texas OU game is right around the corner. And again, it might not be 49-0, but we might be in store for a memorable, historic ass kicking.
It's very hard to disagree, Catch. And I'll have the numbers to back it up so people will know that we're not just pulling stuff out our ass or clickbaitish or anything to that effect. OU in the fall that they are in the process of is a little surprising. By the way, shout out to Sandman. Sandman, I got a woman to hook you up with, Sandman, just so you know. Don't worry about Sandman. I got a woman for you, Sandman. I saw a picture of him with South End Zone Queen over the weekend. Sandman, I got a very attractive Latina woman for you. Just hit me up. And I'm gonna hook you up. So
Jesus, I should have been single around Anwar once upon a time.
Oh yeah, I got somebody for you. You don't have to worry about Catherine standing you up anymore or anything like that. I've got a very attractive woman for you, Sam, man. Hit me up, NFL Anwar at Yahoo, because I don't think my Orange Bloods thing is working. NFL Anwar at Yahoo. I got somebody that you'll thank me for. She's a tremendous woman. No kids, no drama. You'll be very happy, Sam, man. Hit me up, Sam, man. Catch. With over the years, right? It's been interesting because you and I have done shows prior to this. First of all, Catch and I have done shows for years. Okay,
so a decade now.
Yeah, a decade. So, anyway, the one thing that Texas fans always hated, Catch, is when you and I would say how good Oklahoma is. And they would get tired of us saying how good Lincoln Riley is, and we would get smashed for that, right? People would not like all that, and so I say it because we're coming from a genuine place here, right? As people who would say that's the standard when it comes to the quarterback room, that's the standard when it comes to offense, and then they got to a point, Catch, where their defense actually started to get a little bit better, and we're like, that's it. Like you go into a Texas OU weekend and you're like, I mean, you got to talk yourself into a Texas win. And then Venables gets here and right, Catch. I mean, we had to talk ourselves. You're like, man, I guess, but we never felt the confidence about it. Right. You just you take it as found money. Charlie wins, you go crowd surfing, right? Sam Ellinger has his moment. That's it. Well, and then Venables gets here, Catch, and Yeah, and you're like, all right, well, he's got Lincoln Riley. We'll see what happens. But they literally have probably one of their worst offenses that they've had in, I don't know, over a decade or more. They literally, let me show you, just so the OU offense through through 4 games.
Oh, no.
It's literally the worst offense in the SEC. This is not me, my opinion. This is not your opinion. The numbers.
It's not close.
Look at this,
We've reached a point where I think Brent Venables is an absolute crossroads of his Oklahoma career. And I thought on Saturday night, I thought he was in a real interesting position because at half, look, they've got to figure, are they done with Jackson Arnold? What? I don't know where they are with Jackson Arnold. And
can I show you this? You want to talk about that? I got more stats for you. How about this? Look where they are from a passing offense standpoint. You want to know, are they done? They're 14th in the SEC, as far as passing is concerned. Look at, they're averaging 171 passing yards, Ole Miss is at 422.
Well, look, they're averaging 171 yards per game passing on 31 attempts. South Carolina averages more yards with 10 less passing attempts per game.
That's crazy.
It's a crazy number. This is not an Oklahoma team that's remotely similar to the things that we've seen over the years. And look, they've got a game this weekend where they're at Auburn, where again they've got to figure out who the hell they are at the quarterback position. They've been playing at home. They've been kind of skating by. They beat the hell out of Temple, but everybody could kind of see that there was a little bit of fool's gold there. And look, the offensive line isn't really helping them. I don't know that their running game is anything to write home about. Like they lack. They've got good receivers. Some of them have been hurt. They've got to figure out who they are at quarterback. I'm fascinated to hear what comes out of the media in terms of press conferences this week. I'm sure he'll meet with the media today. I'm assuming Monday is a Venables media day, although some schools do it on Tuesday. But if they're going to give up, because I don't know that Hawkins is the future. When you can watch enough of him on Saturday and on where I know that you were literally in the press box. So
I was watching it. No. I had the game on.
Okay.
I have YouTube TV. I literally was watching both games at the same time.
Okay. They get to halftime, and I've seen it. Look, I liked Hawkins as a prospect. I think he's got a chance to be a really good college player. He's so young. It would be coaching malpractice to throw that kid in right now and say, go save our season. And look, we've seen Texas do this before. Hey, Shane Buechele, whether you're ready or not, go play as a true freshman because you don't trust Tyrone Swoops, because you did nothing else. You didn't go into the portal, ironically, to go get a guy like Brandon Harris or somebody like that back in the day. You choose the wrong quarterback, and your coaching career is going to be very short. So here's where Oklahoma is. They gave up everything to commit themselves to Jackson Arnold. They're 4 games into this season. Can you really give up on him? And if you do, I think what they do in the portal next year at quarterback will determine whether or not Brent Venables is coaching at Oklahoma in 2026. If you get that wrong, and at this point, it's hard to give Brent Venables quarterback benefit of the doubt, given that they ran off Dylan Gabriel so that the Jackson Arnold can't, like, all of it could be preserved and that he could be the guy. And he's just not ready right now. And look, So I'm at a place, if I'm Oklahoma, I can't give up on Jackson Arnold. I don't think there's, at this point, another option that works. You need that guy to be good, but you probably need to realize, okay, you know who we're not getting? Probably not even getting Quinn Ewers in 2022, right? Where Texas loses 5 games. They don't win the bowl game. There's some ups and downs. But Quinn was okay for part of the season. And then there were going to be some games where he wasn't. But you've always felt like, okay, well, we're investing. This is not – Quinn in 2023 won't be that guy in 2022. The fear at Oklahoma right now is that he's so bad that – maybe we're investing in a lost cause, that we think this guy was eventually going to be a first-round draft pick. Maybe he's nowhere near that. And if you commit yourself to that, what are you really committing yourself to? They are caught between a rock and a hard place. And what's ironic is they're good on defense. That was one of the big takeaways that you could come away with on Saturday if you watch the Tennessee-Oklahoma game. They're pretty good on defense. They've got some playmakers. They've got some legit guys that they're finally on that side of the ball. If you could take that defense and put it with those old Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Oklahoma teams, you'd really be cooking with grease in terms of could they hang with an SEC team in a playoff? They're so bad on offense. They're so bad on offense. I'm at a point now where I don't know if Oklahoma makes it to a bowl game. And I think this weekend, ironically, is one of the biggest games of their season. It's almost as if they'll never just concede the Texas game and say, well, we can't win that. But they can't win that game right now. That is just like with Michigan. When Michigan played Texas, the thing that I said about that game from the very beginning was wrong time, wrong opponent for Michigan. Second week in the season, don't have quarterback play completely figured out. And Texas brings one of the best quarterbacks in the country to your stadium. Boy, you better be able to score some points. And I feel the same way about Oklahoma. Now I'm looking at the Oklahoma schedule, and you realize they play Alabama. They play a Missouri team that doesn't look as good as they weren't good this weekend. But you start running through all of the juggernauts that they have to play, the entire top half of the SEC outside of Georgia. And I don't know how they win those games. And so I start looking at the rest of the schedule. In a game like this weekend's game, they're not playing a good Auburn team, but Auburn isn't as destitute on offense as Oklahoma is. So I'm telling you, I'm not certain that Oklahoma gets to 6-6 right now. And if that's the case, then Venables goes into next season coaching for his life. Because one thing I, with respect, know about Oklahoma historically is they don't sit around and wait for bad coaches to figure it out. And you could look at Brent Venables right now, and he's got some John Blake tendencies where he recruits well. The roster's not void of talent, and yet they look like half a team. They're so – Anwar, it's hard. It's hard to imagine all of the shows that we've done where we had to talk about Baker begrudgingly. Neither one of us likes Baker, and yet he was there. He was there. Yeah. We lived through the Kyler year where it was like, okay, well, they can't be as good at quarterback as they were a year ago. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How did they just get better? We lived through Jalen Hurts isn't even that good.
He got benched in a national championship game. Like, how good is that guy?
Texas fans spent the entire offseason trashing Jalen Hurts. And it was like, guys, I'm telling you, he's better than you think. We've gone through these years where they've been supernovas on offense.
Oh, no, don't forget you know what? Well, Spencer Rattler, he sucks. And it's like, oh, yeah, but the backup who comes off the bench is the guy who leads them to a victory. He gets benched every Texas OU series. And they just have Caleb Williams who's sitting behind him. Oh, okay.
Have they just inverted their problems The thing is, I don't think their defense was ever this bad as the offense is.
Yeah.
It's not. They haven't been traded.
Let's get the chat knocked out real quick because he's just make sure.
Barb. Okay. I missed that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. He said over UT will run through OU and Aggie like Taco Bell. He goes, Quinn will lead us to a championship. Arch will not have another 2 interception game this season.
Well, that may very well be true. Not a big limb there, Barbs, but I don't. The question is, will Texas at the quarterback position have another 2 interception game this season? They might not lose if they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the stakes that Texas is playing with right now. And teams are going to need the quarterback position at Texas to play at a lower level. It's crazy. This actually just makes me giggle. Arch Manning, number 4 ranked passer in the country right now. Not good from a passing efficiency standpoint on Saturday night, but overall this season ranks number 4 in the country. I thought he might have needed one more game to qualify for the passing stats, but he's now played enough that he qualifies. So Quinn comes back. One of the things that Quinn's going to have to do, he may need Arch to play a little bit more so that his quarterback rating goes down, because if Quinn wants to win the Heisman, you can't have national voters looking at the passing stats and going, well, he's not even better than Arch Manning from a passing efficiency standpoint. Arch is going to need some stats, because there will be some people in various outposts around the country that will look at Arch's stats and go, well, Quinn's not even that good. And, it's amazing that Texas is so deep at quarterback, because I think you could make a case that Trey Owens would be the best quarterback on OU's campus right now.
Well, yeah, but can I tell you why you can make that case, though, Catch? The take I've been holding in for a minute is I don't think OU has good offensive coaches. I think that's the difference. When I had to look it up, and do you know who their OC / quarterback coach is, Catch? Seth Luttrell. Right? Yeah. Seth Luttrell, who, if you just look at his resume, no disrespect, Seth, but he doesn't have anything on his resume that screams, I'm the quarterback whisperer, right? There's nothing about him being there at North Texas and having some success there, maybe being an OC at North Carolina for a little bit. Like, you go through his resume, and the passing game coordinator is Emmett Jones. You go through their resumes, Catch, and there's nothing on there that says that's why I might come to the defense of a Jackson Arnold, and I might be able to, because if
Jackson Arnold was playing under Steve Sarkisian,
he would be a better quarterback.
Yes.
He would be, and that's the point. Like, when you look at Sark, he got the best out of Casey Thompson that we've seen Casey Thompson in his college football career, right? He squeezed everything he could out of Hudson Card, and I'm not going to go there, but he squeezed everything that he could out of Hudson Card. We've seen him obviously develop Quinn Ewers. We see that he's got Arch ready. He's got obviously Trey Owens, who is ready. Like, whoever Texas is thrown in from a QB perspective, we know that Milwee and Sark have done a good job as far as development is concerned. And I look at the OU thing. If they ain't got one guy ready, by the way, Casey Thompson might be their best option, by the way, Catch. I mean, they might as well go to him at this point.
I can't believe they didn't go to Casey Thompson. Why? I thought they were.
They should. I mean, I don't see at this point, why not? I mean, what more do you have to lose in having a guy who's been on campus for 7 years? I mean, a golly, might as well.
Well, because if you play Thompson and he plays well, I think you have to play Thompson.
Yes.
Not completely unlike what Texas went through when Hudson Card had the Arkansas game. That was the 2021 Arkansas game is what the Tennessee game was on Saturday night, where they'd put the drive chart up. At one point, they had like 6 or 7 consecutive drives, and they were in negative yardage with all of those drives combined. And it wasn't like -3 yards; it was like -10. They were going backwards. So they finally make the decision. Well, we got to pull the guy. He is not helping us at all. And it did feel also a little bit like 2001 Texas Colorado in the Big 12 championship game, where there was a little bit of like, save this kid from himself.
Yeah.
You put him out there again, at some point you're spinning your wheels. Like, this is a young guy. He does have a lot of upside. Like, protect your asset. So they take him out of the game. They just didn't have. Hawkins comes in and he wasn't terrible. Like, that's what you would say about him. Well, he wasn't awful. They did score a touchdown, but I think they can show up today. And I think Venables can make the case. He's our future. We're struggling right now, but this is our guy for the future. And so I think they go back to Jackson Arnold. Or do they? Because to me, I go back to him. I got to get more out of him. I've got to get this thing going forward. But if you bench him, that guy is gone. And if I'm Jackson Arnold, I'm transferring the hell up out of Oklahoma if I've got options. This is, the thing about college football in 2024, 2025 is that if you're a player and you feel like you're being mismanaged, poorly coached, whatever, you can just get the hell up on out of Dodge. Now, look, you may end up like Hudson Card, where your options are limited and you go to Purdue and there's almost never a game that you play again where the talent around you is as good as where you were. So you got to be careful with transferring, in that this might be as good as it would ever get for Jackson Arnold. I don't know that powerhouses are sitting around begging for him to come quarterback them at this stage. But Anwar, how many times have we had a conversation about this since you and I have been working together? The quarterback position is the most important position in college athletics. It's more important than the point guard in college basketball. The only thing that might actually top it is starting pitcher in softball. That might be the only team sport in college athletics where the position is more powerful and more important than starting quarterback. You can't be awful. And they're awful right now. And Texas, if I don't go to the OU game, Texas OU game in Dallas, if I'm an OU fan, stay home, sell those tickets, try to make some money off of that. And I wouldn't put myself through it, quite honestly. As a Cowboys fan, I've learned over the years, sometimes, man, you just got to see the beatdowns coming. You got to see them. You can't be surprised by them. And then you don't get emotionally worn out once they occur. Trust me, you got to put on your Dallas Cowboys hat if you're an Oklahoma fan. Buckwild Longhorn says, my hot take for $5. I know Blue had a good game, but I think Gibson is the best all-around running back available in Texas right now. Baxter is still best when healthy. Buckwild, that is a hot take. I totally disagree. I think that's a wild hot take.
I mean, I think that is definitely wild. Blue is the best, running back on the team.
You can't say that Gibson's the best all-around running back. He's not even involved in the passing game at all.
Correct.
When Blue's in the game, he's the most targeted player in the entire offense. He's been getting 6-7 targets a game when he's been healthy. They got him back. He's healthy. Blue can be better. I think Gibson's fine. And I think Gibson is better than Baxter, at least what we've seen on the field so far between the two guys. Buckwild, I think you're all over the place with that one. Because I would rank them Blue, Gibson, and Baxter in order based on kind of my vibe.
Yeah. Before that, Catch, there was another super chat that came in before that.
Cotton for $4.99 says OU has same schedule next year, just reversed. OU will always suck. Hook 'em. Venables might just be toast, Anwar.
Catch. I mean, here's the thing, and I'm gonna go back to it, right? I'm gonna stay on this for the talent. The talent's there, all right. If you believe in rankings, right? OU does have talent on this roster, but they're not getting coached up, and that's just a thing. And at the end of the day, Catch. Here's how this plays out. Okay, I've seen this script. We've lived this. Venables will have to make coaching changes after this season. You can't have all these guys come back. Like, you've got people that you've got to answer to. So you're going to have to fire a few people. You're going to have to sacrifice a couple of lambs. And then you're on the hot seat at that point. Now you've got one more year to pull it off, because OU, what they can't afford, Catch, is to fall that far behind in the SEC. Like, it will take too long for you to catch back up. In the Big 12, you can catch back up if you have kind of an off year. You can get back into it. Not in this conference. You fall behind. You start losing guys to the transfer portal, which is out there now. You start losing the guys from recruiting. God forbid Fasusi wakes up one morning and is like, you know what? I don't really think I like this. Like, this don't seem like this is my gig. Like, all there's a domino effect. So they've got a short window to really figure this thing out, because if they don't, it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough for them they will be a middle of the pack to below average program in the SEC for years if they don't figure out, especially the QB situation. And the QB thing is so fascinating because, again, is it Arnold? Is it the quarterback coach? I lean towards, if you ain't got nobody prepared, it's probably on the coaching staff.
And look, I think it's interesting, Anwar, and you know what? We'll circle back around. For 1999,
yeah, we'll circle back.
I'll give Bryson his immediate due. He says, while I agree Texas is vastly superior to on offense, I'm doing my best here. They're vastly superior to OU on offense. Saying they can't win the Red River Shootout is a step too far for me. I saw Gerard, Hurd, and Charlie lose 50-7 to TCU, then turn around the next week and beat an OU playoff team. Okay, well, Bryson, what I would say is I think this is the second best Texas team that I've ever seen. I wrote about this in my 10 thoughts from the weekend. I think they're better than 2008 Texas. I think they're better than 2004 Texas. I think they're better than 2009 Texas, which most Texas fans think would have won the national championship if Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt in the Alabama game. I agree with that, but I don't think that team was better than the other teams. And then you've got the 2023 Longhorns. This is a Texas team that is going to average close to 50 points a game this season, which means that in any game that you go to, you need to expect that Texas is going to hit 30. They're really good. And they're coached by probably, I think, the best offensive coaching mind in college football. It's all of these really good players with Steve Sarkisian. But I think the thing that really makes this team different is, Bryson, you better believe that Texas is at least as good on defense as Tennessee is. They are exceptional in the secondary. They give up nothing. We're 4 games into the season, and there's no cornerback that plays, whether it's Jahdae Barron, Malik Muhammad, Gavin Holmes when he comes in, Jalen Gilbo. There's nobody that gets picked on. Teams do not want to attack these corners. We're at a point now where it's like, well, did Malik Muhammad even give up a completion on Saturday? That's the level that they're playing at. They've got big-time playmakers in the front six and Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons, and those guys are getting better every week. They don't have a ton of great players, but they got a bunch of good ones, and they're just constantly rotating them in and out, and they never get tired. And this is not Bryson, where you're making your mistake is you're comparing Texas and Oklahoma, for that matter, to the mere mortal teams that we've seen in recent years. This is a Texas team that outside of 2005, I think is as good as any that we've seen. It's as talented as any that we've ever seen. It's got really good quarterback play. It's got playmakers all over the field on offense. Defensively, they're very good. You can't compare this to Gerard Hurd and Charlie or the OU teams that were in the playoff. This Texas team is better than those Oklahoma teams. There's a reason why this Texas team is number one in the country right now. Those Oklahoma teams that made the playoffs under Lincoln, they weren't that good. This is a mediocre at best Oklahoma team with the worst offense in the SEC. It would take Quinn Ewers' worst game as a college player by a lot at this point for Oklahoma to even have a chance in that game. And if Quinn shows up and plays a B- game, Texas wins this game by 3 scores. So you can rationalize, Bryson, however you want or need to. I'm telling you right now, this Texas team is light years ahead of Oklahoma. Light years. If Texas and Oklahoma played 10 times, Texas wins all 10. This is not an Oklahoma. This is an Oklahoma team that got played off its feet at home by Houston. A Houston team that got beat down 34-0 this weekend to, I don't know, Cincinnati? I can't even remember who these bad teams are playing from week to week. They are mediocre at best. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't know if Texas is going to win the national championship. I don't know that Texas will beat Georgia in a few weeks when they come to town. But I do know what Texas will do to mediocre football teams this year. And lose is not one of the things that will happen when Texas plays mediocre football teams.
We also got another super chat that came in from Opinion Sports Show. He said Venables' offensive position coaches outside of wide receiver coach are holdovers from the Raleigh staff. So I agree with Onmore. Brent Venables has to make changes. Defense is fine. By the way, Opinion Sports Show and I have a bet going on, Catch, that started before the season. Cool dude, by the way. His name is D'Angelo. We had a bet last year. Catch, can I show you our bet, by the way? But yeah. we had a bet last year, and I ended up winning that one. So he came back for more. Hold on, I have it saved in my folder. And he has to know he's not going to win at all. So here is our bet, Catch. Why can I not? Oh, I put it in the background. Hold on, let me put it. I put it in background. I should have put it in overlay. Hold on. That's actually nice. And I got it. I got you. Hold on, Opinion Sports Show. I got you coming.
Well, now I really want to see this.
Oh, it's OU. Hold on.
Yeah, this isn't working.
Yeah. No, this is it's bad. I wish I would have had it.
Tell us what it is.
I don't. So, in any case, what the thing is that, let me see. Is that what if I take myself out of it? So we had to choose which games we thought Texas, or team had to choose which games he thought Texas would lose, and I'd have to choose which games I thought Oklahoma would lose. And then of course the winner gets like a $50 gift certificate to go buy a bottle or something like that. So he got to choose his 3 games. Let me pull up D'Angelo's message here. Nonetheless, he understands that he's not going to win, right? I think that.
Okay, well, tell us the games.
I can't find it.
I was in the bets. You better be able to find it.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. We got a $50 bottle bet. Okay. He said that Texas would lose against Michigan, Georgia, and A&M.
Okay.
I went with Oklahoma losing to Ole Miss, Alabama, and LSU. The tiebreaker is the Texas OU game. Now he already's down 1-0.
He's already down 1.
He's already down 1. Okay. And his only hope right now is Georgia to even get back into the mix. Because I've got Ole Miss, Alabama, and LSU. And I feel like
he probably has high hopes. He probably says, look, LSU's nothing. The thing is, Oklahoma fans will talk themselves into if they can just figure out quarterback a little bit, that offense can be just a little bit better, that defensively they're going to have a chance. They're in denial that Oklahoma this year isn't just going to lose to Tennessee by double digits. That it's going that they got some beatings coming their way. In 2024, if you are awful on offense, I think like Oklahoma, right? Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Good, nice job. Volleyball clap.
It took forever. So I apologize for that. So yeah, this is he wrote it down and emailed it to me now.
So you're up 1-0.
Yes.
God, that schedule they play is so hard.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But you know what makes it bad is that they're not as good as they could be. Because I think if you gave Texas that schedule, you say, all right, well, Texas has got a good shot at winning most of these games, right? This one is a little bit tougher, though.
I think Brent Venables is dead man walking.
Yeah.
I don't think the schedules this season and next season. And here's the thing, because we know this because we lived it with Charlie. They go 6-6, 5-7 this year, 7-5, whatever. And everybody knows that Venables is on the hot seat because he will be. Because OU won't put up with. And the thing, we talked about this with Texas and really with Sarkisian early on, which was, man, you got to start winning because the thing Texas can't do is it goes into the SEC is what you said earlier. You can't be bad because then it could take a while to recover. Now, the portal makes it a little easier to recover in theory in 2024, 2025 than it would a few years ago. But hiring a really good offensive coach when you're on the hot seat, I mean, we saw Texas try. You send in your school president and athletic director to, the Tulsas and the Fort Worths of the world to beg, please come save our coach. And that coach is like, well, look, I don't want to leave the job that I have. Somebody mentioned that OU fans want Brennan Marion. I saw that earlier. And if you're Brennan Marion, you're like, okay, well, look, that's a good job. But there's a lot of risk in that because the schedule is brutal. You're telling me I got 1 year to bring in a quarterback, turn it all around, and play the toughest schedule in college football. Okay, pay me $2.5 million and guarantee that over 4 years. Like you're just asking for.
You know what that is,
money.
Catch? That's Sterling Gilbert.
Yes,
2.0. That's what that is. That's
exactly.
We want you to leave Tulsa. He's like, well, okay, you got to pay me and my boy.
Yes,
3-year deal, and then I'll come take your money and get fired.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. We've seen this 3-act play before.
Yes,
and
we know bad coaching. We know what coaching carousels look like. Like, trust me, OU.
This is where OU fans need to listen to us more than anybody else because we have lived the thing that OU is going through right now.
Yeah,
believe us, we know. I mean, we know. We covered school presidents begging offensive coordinators from non-Power 5 schools.
Tulsa got on a plane after he said no and got on a plane to beg him to come.
Beg.
Yes. And he was the co-OC at that time, by the way. There's okay, Catch, we got some more super chats. Brian has one. Bryson has one as well.
Brian Alfaro, any potential OU flips based on their play? I don't think so. I mean, I know everybody is crossing their fingers that Michael Fasusi. I don't think Texas wants to pay over $1 million for an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Period. So even if Fasusi were to come back, I think that could only happen if Fasusi was like, I'll take an NIL deal that's in line with what the rest of your players are currently getting, which would be about $500,000 more than probably what he's looking at right now. So, and there are some other factors as well. I think he loves the fact that his teammate, one of his best friends, is going to be a preferred walk-on at Oklahoma. Those two guys seem dialed in. And beyond that, Texas and Oklahoma haven't done battle for a lot of guys. So I would say at this point, maybe, but I don't think so. Right. Let's see. Let's keep working through. Bryson hop back in for $4.99. Your monologue has shifted my thoughts. I have seen that game can be weird. I think this Texas team is so much better than 2015 OU. 42-3 Texas.
Ugh. I mean, okay, that 2015 team was good. I don't want to be disrespectful to that Oklahoma team. They did lose that game, but they still went to the playoffs, right? So let's not get crazy. But I don't think this year.
But it wasn't good enough that it couldn't get pushed around.
Yes.
By a sub 500 Texas team.
The stars aligned that day in the weirdest way. I mean, again, that's the Charlie Strong crowd surfing game. I mean, that again, the stars align. I'm not going to just say that the stars didn't align. I just don't want to go too crazy on like the OU thing because at the end of the day, they still made the playoffs, right? So that happened. But the way this team is constructed this year, because here's the thing, Catch, from a defensive standpoint, and again, I'm a numbers guy. Here's the OU defense, and we know the offense is bad, right? Well, if you look at where the defense is, they're ranked 9th in the SEC at this moment, giving up 280.
But I think they're better than those numbers would indicate. I think they've got a top 5 SEC defense. I think they got no offense to help them out.
Wait. Which defense? So you think their defense is better, like maybe than a Kentucky?
Oh yeah. Okay, for sure.
Okay.
I think that if we're looking at that, I would say, I thought their defense was as good as Tennessee's defense was. I wouldn't take them over Georgia. I wouldn't necessarily take them over Texas. Yeah. But I think they're in that discussion when they're all healthy. They can't have guys getting injured like it looked like a couple of guys on Saturday did. I don't know how deep they are where they can maintain. I think they're really good on defense. Look, their shot against Texas in the Cotton Bowl in a few weeks is that their defense shows up. I'm thinking about the 2009 game where Colt finishes second in the Heisman, but he wasn't really good that year. And he has a couple of interceptions. He has a couple of fumbles. And because the quarterback it was the worst game Colt McCoy ever played. It was so bad. He was legitimately awful. I'm trying to pick what's the word that properly describes how poor he was. Pick the ugliest word you can. That's how bad he was that day. And so it turned into a real slop fest where I guess ultimately the best defense wins. Texas wins that game 16-13. If you're Oklahoma, that's the kind of game that you're hoping in a couple of weeks breaks out. Texas is just so good on offense. I think even in a world where you're able to force Quinn Ewers into a couple of big mistakes, that's the kind of game where Quinn could throw 2 pick sixes, but Texas still might score 30+ points. So if you're Oklahoma, and even if you get 2 pick sixes, how are you getting to 30? And, it's not like they can turn around and lean on their running game.
Oh,
they're not a good running team either. That offensive line is not good. It's not just one thing. Hell, it would be more if they were just bad at quarterback.
Catch, I got you covered there too.
Oh,
go all the way down to number 15 for rushing offense. Catch.
I don't even know what to say. They're worse than I thought.
Yeah. I mean, that's where their rushing offense is. This is why I'm saying it can't be all. This is where I struggle with. That's why I'm like, Catch. It can't be all just the players, right? This is coaching, man, because you're not getting it done from a rushing perspective. You're definitely not getting it done from a passing perspective. It's not just all injuries.
They're averaging 3.56 yards per carry.
Yeah.
That's worse than the worst Jerome Bettis years when he was just big and they'd hand him the ball and he would just like fall forward for a couple of yards. 3.56.
Yes.
Wow. And if you look, here's the thing. Don't look at the yards per game, Anwar. Look at that yards per carry. The yards per carry, because LSU isn't, from a yards per game standpoint, well below Oklahoma, right? By 25 yards. But if you look at the yards per carry, they're almost at 4 yards per carry. There are only 3 teams in the SEC that average less than 4.25 yards per carry. And OU's yards per carry is the worst. It's worse than Mississippi State, and they're terrible.
Yeah.
Mississippi State's getting dump trucked by Toledo at home. And yet, when it comes to running the football, they're a little more productive than as bad as Oklahoma is in the passing game, Anwar, they're probably worse running the football.
Yes.
I look, Oklahoma fans, I feel like it just needs to be said. And you guys are going to need to come to grips with this. Y'all are done, man. Y'all are done this season. Y'all are done with Brent Venables because it doesn't get better next year. There's nothing that you can point to right now and say, but wait, next year, because you guys don't believe in Jackson Arnold right now. And you would need to believe in Jackson Arnold a lot to believe, okay, well, no matter what happens this year, next year, we're better because ... You have to have a quarterback in place. Trust me. Anwar and I have covered teams where it's like, okay, well, they got a recruiting class coming in and they got some players on defense, it looks like. And then what about the offense? And right now, I don't think there's a player on OU that starts for Texas on offense. There's not one player on that Oklahoma offense that I think starts for Texas. Period. You could go to wide receiver. What's funny is Texas got who they wanted in the portal at wide receiver. And, they specifically, Jesse James says, Catch been drinking that yak. I haven't. This is the reality. This is the world that we live in, Jesse. Like I'm not the one putting up the stats. The stats make Oklahoma even worse than I'm calling them out to be. Oklahoma is done under Brent Venables. And the best thing that they can do right now, they need to start putting a plan into place. Who's replacing Brent? And let me tell you what you can't do. You can't go out and hire some assistant coach. Now, look, I know Sarkisian was an assistant coach. And I know that OU's had so much success hiring coordinators in the past. But you finally went bust with Brent Venables. He is not an elite head coach. He does not have elite coaching on the offensive side of the ball. They need to immediately start thinking about who's next. Because the one thing Brent Venables is doing a good job of, he is acquiring talent. He is a good recruiter. He very much feels like this generation's John Blake. So the guy that will replace Venables will inherit a team that has talent. But they didn't.
You don't think they're one OC away? You don't think they're just one OC away from turning it around? No.
Who's their quarterback, Anwar?
Well, you got to find someone who knows how to develop one.
They got to find a lot of things all at once.
Yeah.
They got to find offensive linemen. By the way, Missouri taking their best offensive lineman in the portal last year left a mark because they don't have good players. So knowing that Missouri came in and took their best young offensive lineman stings. I mean, look, I think the problem as much as anything is the schedule is brutal.
Yeah.
These teams that they play are all going to be really good next year. Tennessee's not getting worse. Next year you go to Knoxville, they return their quarterback. Yeah. Their 5-star guy is hitting. Your 5-star guy is missed. And I do think I'll point out Anwar on Saturday night. And by the way, was there any other super chats?
Bryson came in. He said last one, and I'll shut up. Texas losing to OU last year actually benefits this year's team. This team is going to go into that game pissed off.
You're right about that for sure. They were embarrassed. They were a better team than OU a year ago, and OU played them off their feet. And look, if Oklahoma can come up with quarterback play, because what happened a year ago? You got the best game of Dylan Gabriel's life.
Mm-hmm.
Best game of his life.
Yeah.
He never had a game of that against a team of that magnitude. He had never played that well before. And in that game, he did. Now, look, if you tell me right now that going into the OU game in a few weeks, Oklahoma gets a miraculous Dylan Gabriel 11 performance from Jackson Arnold or whomever, well, okay, they got a chance at that point.
Yeah.
But, I could grow wings and fly. Like, yes, we can play the what if game where it's like, Anwar could become an NBA star if he just, become 10 years younger and 6 inches taller. He's in the association. It's like,
exactly.
I mean, yes, if these things could happen, it feels like it feels as big of a leap as saying Anwar can go back in age. He can Benjamin Button it and grow like 6 more inches, and he could be like an all NBA player. Like that feels more doable than thinking that Oklahoma is going to have miraculous quarterback play 2 days after what we watched on Saturday. It feels like, Hudson Card. No. After the 2021 Arkansas game, you knew what Hudson Card was. So the idea of showing up the next week and playing against the best team on the schedule, and that's what Texas is. That's the scary thing for Oklahoma. As scary as their schedule is, the best team they will play is Texas. Good luck with that. As Bryson points out, a Texas team that won't be coming off a 49-0 win from a year ago. It would be really disappointing if this Texas team, with all the maturity that it has showed, goes into the Cotton Bowl with a little bit of a laissez-faire attitude of like, well, we'll just show up and do our thing. I mean, they kind of did that a year ago and OU smacked them in the face. So you have to be prepared that OU will try to smack you in the face. And that's, if you're Texas, that's all you need. That should be the thing that keeps you on point, is the fear factor. Having lost to Oklahoma a year ago, there will be a fear factor involved that really wasn't there a year ago. It was, you can't fake you beat the team 49-0 the year before, play them the next year, and think that you don't take it a little bit for granted. So I agree with Bryson.
Yeah, but the good thing for them though, Catch, is that they're becoming.
Tracy, you're right. You're right. Because I feel like Anwar now, if I could let him go back 10 years ago and make him taller and a better athlete, he's probably going to be the first goalkeeper in his family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, keeper. I realize, Tracy. It should have been keeper. Because my kids are killing it at the keeper position.
And they could be like a chip off the old block.
Yeah.
If you went back in time and did that.
Yeah.
As it stands, you go to these soccer camps and stuff, and they're like, hey, did you play back in the day? And you're like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're like, no, it's all them. It is all them.
It's crazy because the keeper, they actually measure you as the dad, like to see, like, well, at least like Austin FC did, like they measured to kind of do like a projected growth. So I totally would be like, man, let's go ahead, let's move to England, see Titan, move to England. And no. First of all,
Darwin's coming at you.
First of all, I didn't. First of all, I never sucked at basketball. I'd beat your ass. Let's start there, okay? I would mollywop you on the court, Darwin. So let's start there. Let's start there. And I might still be able to do it with my limited, with where my knees are now. Polly can still beat your ass. But that being said, dude, I go out there in the soccer thing, catch, and I play with my kids, and I actually have some natural ability at this. And I was like, why didn't anybody tell me about this a long time ago? So anyway, yeah, I would kill you, Darwin.
South End Zone Queen wants to know, wait, when does Sydir need to have an escort? South End Zone Queen, it looks like there was a moment in Saturday's game when Sydir Mitchell needed to be taken to the locker room. Now, Sark didn't talk about it after the game for obvious reasons. I doubt anybody will ask him about that today. Sydir, though, is a guy that literally came in. He's had to work hard to still be here. And one of the things that when you recruit out-of-state guys and they need a few years to develop, and patience is sometimes not a virtue, Sydir Mitchell's not ready to be playing at a high level at this level, but he still has to do all of the things, that Sark will expect from his players. You can't get into it on the sidelines with guys. You can't be a distraction. You better be a special talent if a team's ranked number 1 in the country and a guy can't be happy on the sidelines. Because that is the last thing in the world. The thing that Sydir Mitchell will have a hard time doing is he'll have a hard time finding guys that will stand on the table in the coaching staff to say, oh, no, we'll put up with this mess when we're the number 1 ranked team in the country. We still got coaches are wired to want to get rid of distractions, especially when they're either really good or they're really bad. The extremes of good and bad is when you least want to have somebody causing a problem. So I don't know that Sydir Mitchell is gone. It feels like that's a little premature. I've seen some speculation of, is he going to be gone by today or Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't know that I'd go that far. Sark seems to be a guy that is willing to give a guy a second chance, but I think Sydir Mitchell's level of buy-in as a player in this program and how you're going to support your teammates when you're not on the field is probably something that's got to improve. And so I think there probably will be a come to Jesus moment at some point this week where Sydir Mitchell understands the expectations for him as a player, and you probably don't get another get out of jail card. I don't think there's anything that's happened, and I'm just guessing, but based on what I've heard, I don't think anything has happened that's so far gone that you can't come back, but you're probably using your get out of jail card and you got no more. And so, I think Sydir Mitchell as a football player is still at least a year away. And inside of that year, he's got to really hunker down and be focused. And I think that's one of the things that Sydir Mitchell is trying to do as a young person. He's out of state. He's away from home. The academics are really hard. Football stuff's not quite happening for him at a level as fast as he wants it to. And it can be tough, man. It's not always peaches and cream with these guys, with the amount of pressure that they put on themselves to perform. So,
yeah, but the thing is, Catch, he's here. If I was advising Sydir or his family, I would mention 2 names. I would tell them Joshua Moore. I'd tell them Ajay Hall. And I would tell them that, you know what? Sark was patient initially and tried to work it through. He's never been as soon as something happens, you're off the team kind of guy. You remember, Catch, when him and Joshua Moore got into it?
Oh, yeah.
all that kind of stuff. People said I was making this into a huge deal, blah, 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 blah. The world was against me, right? But then Joshua Moore, just a few days later, was like, you know what? Can't handle this, goes in the transfer portal, right? Jai Hall was another one. Kind of becoming a little bit of disruptive force. I believe he may have left during the game or something like that, or something close to that effect. I feel like he did. And now Jai Hall's going to the extreme as far as that's concerned. But when you're Sark, and he always talks about culture, buy-in, and he's got a whole bunch of guys that have been sitting there. Alfred Collins could have been like, why the hell was I not getting my run for many years? Vernon Broughton could have said the same thing. David Benda. Like, he's got guys who've sat around and waited their turn, and then they've gotten in and done well. So what you can't do, especially with the number one team in the country, you got no leverage right now, Catch. Like, they're the number one team in the country, and if you can't make it there, it's going to be a question of where can you make it. Yeah, Darwin. Yeah, Darwin also says.
But Darwin also says.
He says, I'm 60. So the state, how many teams were even in the damn state at that time, Darwin? Like, no, like, yeah, you were all state when there was like 12 teams in the damn state. Sure, man. Listen, Darwin. I speak. Bring the Ben K. Yes. We can play horse if you want to. We can just do a simple game of horse if you want to do that. But Darwin, don't sit here. Anybody want to sit here and doubt Unk's athletic abilities? Do it at your own risk and your own peril. But I'm talking that thing for a reason.
I thought boxing was your thing.
Yeah, boxing was my thing. Did I ever tell you my boxing story?
No.
Oh, okay, so it was like my mid to late 20, like 26, 27. I decided to do boxing, right? And so I go to a real boxing gym, and I'm way thinner back then. I'm skinny as hell. So but I had power in my right hand. Jab was okay. So, but powerful. So I'm getting trained by professional trainers who are like, man, we love you. You got a lot of power. So I'm in phenomenal shape, Catch, right? I'm jogging 3 miles before I work out in the boxing gym. Antonio Tarver's in this gym, right? So I'm with the real deal guys. And so they tell me, okay, well, let's just let you go down and let's watch a whatchamacallit, like a sparring match, right? And again, I see there's a promoter who likes me. Like, when it comes to the bags, the mitts, the everything, I am freaking killing it. And then I watched the sparring session in person, and I was like, the hell with this. I got insurance, man. Like, I'm like, wait, I got to practice getting hit in the head before I really get hit in the head all the damn time. I was like, man, you are not scrambling my brain like this. And so ended my boxing career.
I am so glad, because I did not want to do a show where Anwar's got CTE at your young age.
I'm the Catch. The boxing, you know what you don't see? You don't see middle class to upper class people boxing. Okay? These people, Catch, I'm in that gym. These people are boxing for food. Okay? Like, they get $100 a round they start off at doing 4 rounders, and they still got to give a promoter a cut, a manager a cut. So they end up getting like a couple $100. And I was like, man, no, I ain't doing that. I am not.
I agree, Benji. Anwar's face is too pretty for boxing.
No, I would not have. And listen, I'm admitting I would not have lasted. I looked at I'm a man enough to admit, Catch. I was like, I am not going to get my face hit. It's so much different when you're hitting other things, but realizing they can hit you back. I was good on that one. I can throw hands now. I can throw hands with you, but I ain't trying to go like 12 rounds.
My greatest skill, sports trivia. It's the thing that if you go down to the rec center at UT and you look at like the wall of champions, like, I'm on the wall of champions. Sports trivia at UT.
Really?
Yeah.
For what? What did you do?
We won the sports trivia bowl like 2 years in a row. Trivia. Yeah, I'm on like the the basketball. You got all of the different competitions intramural. We were the intramural champions at sports trivia at UT. Somewhere, you've got Tom Landry's on the wall because he wants some intramural stuff. You can find me on the wall at UT. It's not a flattering photo, but you can find me on the wall. Still had hair back then.
I wonder if it's still there.
Oh yeah, no, they're all. Once you win like an intramural championship, you get put on the wall, and you're on the wall forever. You can go back and look at champions from the 50s and the 40s and the 30s, and I'm on the wall.
One day, I'm going to find out wherever this intramural place is, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go and check it out, or maybe. So you did Pluckers nights? Did you do those Pluckers stuff with Dustin back in the day?
No, I never really did that. There were times I would be in Pluckers when that went down, and I wouldn't. I think I played it a couple of times.
Yeah. By the way, Doak says I'm at the snap the Achilles age. Stay away from hoops. Doak, let me let you know this. Now, Unc is really good at walking. I'm not. I don't play. I stopped doing organized. I pick up basketball like years ago because once I realized things didn't bounce back. I'm not softball guy. Softball guy catch. They start the company starts a league, and then all of a sudden softball guy decides like, oh man, I think I still got it. And he just decides as soon as he rounds first or second. Everything just pops like LCL, MCL, LCL, like Achilles is gone. I'm not softball. I stay within my lane. I'm man enough to know that I'm too old for some shit. And I know what I can do or cannot do. I can play with my kids. And that's it. And even then I sit down and take a break.
I'm gonna tell you, I knew I was in the zone in sports trivia. I'm pretty sure that the match winning question involved horse racing. And I stuck the landing on some pre-1950 horse racing question. And I was like, that's when you know that you've got it going. They just happened to ask a question that I had seen on one of those daily calendar pages. I'm like, I know what calendar you have. I have that same calendar because I got the pre-1950 horse racing question. Yes.
At this age, like real quick before we go, since we're off topic, is there a sport that you'd be willing to pick up at this age now? Would you play pickleball? That's kind of a huge deal right now. If you had to compete in a 50 and over, and you're not 50 yet, but a 50 and older sports competition, would you still do trivia? Would you choose swimming? Would you do?
No, man. I'd play basketball.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You'd risk the injury, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'd have to get it I'd need a month or two to get my game back.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was like a point forward, 5'10" point forward as a younger basketball player. Good handles. Unselfish, good vision, plays hard, shoots pretty well. I'd foul the shit out of people. That's the thing you always knew you'd have with me. An unselfish, fearless fouler. Don't you dare go to the rim. Oh my God, I used to we'd play games against like the UT players back in the day.
Yeah.
And I would almost cripple guys. And it's like, I can't play anymore with these guys. These guys really want to dunk, and I have a no dunk policy, but I can't be sending scholarship players to the fucking hospital.
No, you can't do that. You can't.
Because I've got some oath of you can't dunk on my team in a pickup game. No, look, I told you. I've ever told you my John Bianco basketball story?
Oh no, I'm here for it though.
Well, let's end it on my Bianco basketball story. So I'm working in the SID office, and I used to hoop like every day. So we'd be talking about hooping. Well, Bianco if I'm not mistaken, he played college basketball.
Oh.
And so Bianco, he challenged me to a game of hoops one day.
One-on-one or?
One-on-one.
Oh.
One-on-one. Bianco and I were in his car. We drove to like an asphalt church parking lot hoop to play some one-on-one.
Okay.
And Bianca and I are playing, and like, I'd love to hear Bianca's version of this story.
Okay.
But he did not like how hard I was fouling him.
Uh-huh.
And we had to like stop the game.
So that sounds like it almost came to blows. That's what that sounds.
It was not. It came down to, if we're going to work together in the future. Uh-huh. He was my boss. I don't remember finishing the game. I remember there's a competitive level that I play with, and that John got a piece of that, and John didn't like it. And I think he just took his ball and went home. Like, I don't think we finished the game. Was he ahead? I don't remember. Maybe. Like, what I remember is it was like, 10-8 or something like that. It was still, we were playing probably to 21. Uh-huh. And I don't remember finishing the game. I remember John was not happy with how hard I kept fouling him. Well, because hoopers, who hoop and are good, don't like it when they're not getting like quote unquote real defense or just following someone. Like at that point, they're like, all right, they already feel like their skill level is higher than yours, and this is a waste of time. I just don't think he liked how. The thing is, I was a football player playing basketball. Clearly, what I've heard a lot of? I've heard a lot about your fouls. I haven't heard a lot about buckets going in. I was famous for how hard I would foul people. That's not good. But hey, I was good enough that I got picked at the park all the time. So yeah. I was doing enough right, but like, I've been in a number of fights because, dudes don't like how hard I foul. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't know that you're fouling that hard. But in retrospect, if I was watching it from an out-of-body experience, it'd be like, oh, I did swing really hard as he was going up for a shot. Yeah. All right. That's the only time I ever played soccer in the 5th grade, only soccer game I ever played in. They gave me the ball, and I ran through about 5 people, knocking them to the ground. By the time I got to the goalkeeper, he went and ran for cover. I scored a goal. I put my hands up in the air at 10 years old. I was like, yes, this is my new sport. And everybody at Robertson Elementary School in Round Rock said, you got to go play Foursquare. Get the hell on out of here. You are not allowed to play with us anymore. Oh, I'm asking Bianco about this today. After Sark is done with the press conference, later when he comes back in, I'm asking him about this. I got to know. Hey, Brad, you're not wrong. Very competitive. Very competitive. So, and I admit it. Like, when I was 18, 19 years old, I was a little too physical on the basketball court. Yeah. It's true. I've got a trophy back here from one of these things that I won. Like this like in 2001, like a tournament there. But I just don't play anymore, man. I don't. I got a few more, but I just put that one up there because it's one of the nicer looking ones. I was actually a really good shooter. Yeah. I could shoot. Like I said, I never sat around long at the park and didn't play. Shipe Park represent back in the day, jumped in that creek, chasing basketballs numerous times. Not sure how I didn't break a leg. All right, we got to go because Steve Sarkisian is going to be talking to the media in like an hour, and Onwar's got to get on the road. Guys, like, comment, subscribe to the page. We love your interaction. We love your likes. We love you getting notifications because you never know when a breaking news video is going to occur, and Onwar is going to report on an injury, and like 60,000 people are going to watch the video because why wouldn't they? Onwar's got all the information. You got to get notifications though so that you never miss anything. Shout out to our partner, rogueshop.com. Just go to the site. Char's literally waiting to help you look for anything that you need. Same thing with Richard. They're great people. They're orange bloods through and through. They support Texas athletics. They have a great product. Everything about it is win-win. Make your life a little bit better by helping you sleep, helping anxiety, helping pain. There's so much good to be had. You just got to reach out and do it. You have to make that first step. They can help you with other steps, but you got to take the first one. Go to rogueshop.com today. Use that promo code OrangeBloods. Get that discount in your life a little bit better as soon as today. What did I miss?
Tracy Williams, go check your Twitter account. He just put
hold on. Let me look and see how close to reality it is. No, I've seen this video before. I could move better than that back in the day. I had athletic. I was recruited as an athlete, but not like at a high level. You know, like West Texas A&M, Tarleton State had a few football offers. I did not have. I was quite honestly. This guy can hoop, man. But he ain't moving very well. That might be me now.
What?
Oh, look at that dime! You know what? I'm telling you, this guy had my court vision for sure. Hey, Onward, you'll get a kick out of this. Back in the day, I'd go to the park. Guess what jersey I would be wearing?
That's a fascinating question. It's got to be a Pistons jersey, right?
No. Think about it.
Strange.
Something happened recently. Kevin Johnson. I would show up at the park in my Kevin Johnson jersey to hoop it up. That's why the other day I was like, Kevin Johnson? I was like, you were Kevin Johnson.
Wow. Small world.
I'd be like, KJ, you know, back in the day, people used to say you and I had similar games.
Minus the fouls.
Minus the fact that I put people in the hospital on fouls. One of these days, I'm going to have people jump in. It's what I need to do. I need to have my old high school crew. I need to tell them on text message, come into the chat and like verify that back in the day I could hoop a little bit.
Yeah.
On top of all my fouls.
Yes. Yeah. We'll have to have a cosign day, right? Where we can get all the people from the past to cosign on could you or could you not hoop? Could we athletic? Like you got to bring in your old friends who are that we'll have cosign day.
Man, I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many fights I've been in on a basketball court. It's countless.
You think Cody can hoop?
I don't know. They don't hoop in the Dakotas and Minnesota a lot. Like that. That's not their thing.
I don't. Man, we know he lifts weights. I just wonder, from a hooping perspective, is that what?
I don't know.
Yeah, we got to ask him. All
right, we got to go. Onward's got to go to work, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today. It was a fun video. Yes, OU's going to catch a beat down in a few weeks. They might catch one this weekend if they're not careful. For Anwar Richardson and myself and the guys over at Rogue Shop, and for everybody that participated in the Specs chat today, including Darwin, who was the MVP in the chat, just because the idea of him and Anwar having a geriatric Olympics competition makes me smile.
Bad. So bad right now.
You guys have a great day. We'll see you at 12 with House.